Hello, magical people. Welcome to the As Above, So Below show. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and I'm here with the lovely one and only Ashala. Ashala, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Meg. I'm feeling quite refreshed and ready to get going on this new year.
Yes, I am totally on board with you. I'm feeling the exact same. My voice might be a little bit funky today, you guys. I'm just coming out of a little cold, but I'm feeling the same, refreshed. I really enjoyed the time off with family this holiday season. Did you have a nice holiday season, Ashala?
I did, and I even got to hang out with Janine for a couple of days.
Oh,
She
so
came over for
cool.
a visit. We haven't spent
Nice.
time together, like good quality time. We had like 2 full days and 3 nights. I think it was just lovely. She posted a couple of pictures up on Telegram, I think, and
Mhm.
yeah, it was very, very, very sweet and super to catch up with her. And just as you can imagine, we just talked each other's ears off.
That is awesome. I love that you guys got to see each other in person, and such a difference when we get to see each other in person rather than just online.
And
That
we're
is
so excited about the conference and about meeting. I'm excited about meeting all of you in person as well.
yeah, for sure. I'm so excited about that too. So thank you everybody for joining us here live. Our live crew, can't even talk crew if you're watching the live, or our replay crew. We love all of you. And before we get into the content of today's As Above, So Below show, we just want to remind you guys to please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channels. And also, Ashal and I both have personal readings available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. The link is in the description box below, and we're both currently booking into 2025. Did you take a break during the holiday season, Ashala, from doing any readings? Did you have some
Yeah.
nice time off?
Yeah, that was probably the longest break I've had in years. I had
Wow.
over 2 weeks off. What about you, Meg? Did you as well?
Yeah, the same. I had about 2 weeks off, and I love doing the one-on-one readings, but it is nice to have that little break
Yes.
from
Yeah,
doing it to reset for sure. Yeah.
totally.
Awesome. And also, you guys, last little housekeeping thing is I'm going to be hosting this special live Pluto and Aquarius Master Workshop on Sunday, January 12th on the Beyond Mystic Academy. So I'm going to do long form workshop on what this transit means for the whole collective, each of the 12 signs. Very, very important. We're in this transit for the next 20 years, and you guys are going to be hearing me talk about it for the whole next 20 years. So if you want to learn how to harness this transit based on your sun, moon, rising sign, the whole collective predictions, go check that out. So there's a lot going on. Even though we've just had the holidays, there's a lot going on. Have you been noticing any themes right now, Ashala? How are you just feeling as we're at the beginning of this Gregorian year of 2025? What are you
Yeah.
noticing? What are you feeling?
I feel like it's a mixed bag, Meg. That's what I've been noticing. I've been noticing a lot of people are really, as this time of year rolls around, there's often a lot of focus on health and getting grounded and coming back into our center and kind of taking stock of our lives and maybe cleaning some things up.
Mhm.
And there seems to be a bit more energy of curiosity and creativity around, let's get started and do some cool stuff this year and maybe, like maybe explore a bit,
Mm,
both physically, metaphysically, and so on. But then there's just an overriding sense of like, oh, oh my God, right? It's like,
right.
so it's all that in this with this over like I've noticed we've had so much gray skies here. I mean, I live on the coast, so that's to be expected, but it just seems like there's a heaviness. So
Mm.
like I'm just really, really appreciating people's courage and generosity of spirit that they're coming into good frequency amidst all this uncertainty.
Mm. I am feeling totally the same thing. And where you are, you're on the coast of BC. Is that
Mhm,
correct? Yeah.
mhm.
And I know that, when you're in a coastal region like that, there can be maybe a bit more gray skies than other places. But I've been noticing here in Belgium, same kind of weather temperament as where you are. In December, there was only 26 hours of sunlight here. 26 hours in 1 month. And
Mhm.
I freaking felt it
Yeah.
really. Have you noticed less, like, the weather is different, or is it the usual weather where you are?
Yeah, the weather is different. I mean, we had that big story that's kind of still rumbling around about the toxic fog or the mystery
Right.
fog, and I mean, I just feel like it is a mixed bag. Again, I feel like there is some weather modification stuff happening. How much of it is for our benefit and how much of it is nefarious is, like remains to be exactly determined. But nevertheless, it does feel as though, not getting enough sunlight. If,
Mm.
if we're looking at new frequency and upgrades for humanity coming in on the light codes of our sun, of our solar energy, then we really want to take advantage of accessing that frequency whenever possible. It was interesting that we're talking about this because this morning I went out on my deck at the sun's just starting to kind of show up in the sky around 7:30 in the morning here now.
Yeah.
The sky was so red and like really colorful, which made me kind of go outside and like to have a look. And then I just caught the sun. It was as it was starting to pop up over the horizon. And I've heard of this practice. They call it eating source. And you basically stare at the sun just for those first, minute and a half as it's just starting to rise. And apparently there's an energy frequency that is bringing in those light codes. So I was doing that this morning and it really felt good. Like you don't do stare at the sun, obviously, when it's up because it's too hard on your eyes, or it can be
Yeah.
challenging for some people's eyes. But anyway, solar energy and the importance of it. And we can take our, opportunities when they arise, I think.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so happy that you're sharing that right now, because that's something that I haven't really been thinking about lately, but it's so true that those upgrades are coming from the sun. Right? It's, our solar system in the higher realm going through the photon band now, activating the sun. The solar flares are activating us, but also to just physically be with the sun and present with the sun is absolutely huge, which some of us don't get to do that much this time of year. And with the weather modification, which, I mean, we are here on YouTube, but we're talking about it anyways. I agree with you, Ashal. I think there's definitely weather modification going on. Maybe some for the good, maybe some for the not so good, because there seems to be really unusual things going on lately, for
Yeah.
sure. And I've been hearing it back home from where I'm from in Ontario, my friends and family saying, yeah, it's not that much sun here either at the moment.
Hmm. All over the place. Yeah.
Have you done any card pulls on the fog yet and what's going on with
I'm
it?
trying to remember. Janine and I did a card pull when she was here, and I honestly am just gapping at what it was because we just fit so much talking and card pulling in on everything that it was.
Yeah,
So maybe we could do a quick card pull on that.
if you'd like to. Yeah, I
We'd
think that
love
would be
to. Yeah, just to see what we're getting today around us.
great.
The sun is exposing the darkness. Yep.
Mhm.
Just going to pull 3 cards. Like, what do we need to know about this? The fog. Okay, well, I mean, so past, present, potential, future. We could also say where we are, where we're going, how we're getting there. Uh, you know, this is so interesting because both if this is in the past or where we are right now, it's the wish fulfilled card. So there's something about this that is setting us up for receiving a blessing. Now, whether this is that the fog or the clouds are, hiding the extraterrestrial activity that we're not meant to see yet, or is it because there's actually something beneficial around whatever is in this fog? Is it about that it's making weather modification so obvious that we talk about it and bring it out on the table? as a
Right.
discussion. I mean, it could be any one of those things, but overall, where we're going, it's coming into like greater integrity, greater balance, health. How we're getting there, interestingly enough, is we're going to go through some, I want to say, downgrades and upgrades. Like, we're going to go through some health crises. You know, I've been seeing this all the way through all of these events over the last 5 years, that
Mm,
these things that are being introduced, they kind of pull us down, but you could almost see it like the pulling back of the bowstring. They pull us back, but then when we basically get in alignment and start fixing whatever it is, or addressing it, or becoming conscious of it, it propels us forward.
mm. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting because I just did a psychic spy show with Janine just a few hours ago, and I think she pulled like 2 or 3 times the 9 of cups. Actually, all those cards came forward, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
And the 9 of cups was coming up a lot. So that's so interesting. What is the 9 of cups about, Ashala? Sorry, could you
Well,
just
we call it the wish fulfilled. It's the window of opportunity is another way to look at it. It's like the gathering of, it's an emotional card, but it's a fulfillment card. So it's somehow that we wished for something where we get to live more with more integrity, more fulfillment, more out in the open. So that
Mhm.
would indicate that there's something being exposed, or
Right.
this is bringing us an opportunity. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow. And now that we're at the start of the new Gregorian year, I'd love to ask you if you could do a special pull reading for us on, now that we're at the start of this new Gregorian year, what's ahead for us. I know our last As Above, So Below, I think we did it with Sylvia, if I'm not mistaken. We did do a card pull for 2025, but we're now a few weeks in. We're actually in it now. What messages are there for us?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, were you planning, Meg, on looking at the different, like the fire signs, the earth signs? Because we could do something like that. I could
We
do a
could do
poll.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
that feels like, I just think it would be really nice. Maybe I'll start with doing like, say, 3 cards that just
Sure.
put it on the page. And
Yeah.
then I know Janine has done a forecast for the whole year, so I'll let her take that over. But
Mhm.
we'll just have like a tone of what we need to know right now, and then maybe we could pull cards from each of the signs for
Yeah,
this,
that sounds
or not
great.
each of the signs, but each of the elements.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall tone. Get ready. Okay, wow. Right?
Whoa.
So we're starting off with this energy of, still working stuff out, and finances. So I've been pulling my own forecasts for the year just personally. And I got that this is a very, very big year financially. That is going to be a lot about transitioning between systems. And we're coming in feeling a little road weary
Okay.
in that financial realm. Yep. And then that brings in a lot of, the stress and the anxiety. So this is happening here. Okay. And then so these are pretty, I don't want to say they're not the heaviest, hardest hitter cards, but they're serious business cards. So right now, the tenor is that we are going to be um, getting to a kind of a critical point. I would say even in the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to reach sort of like this critical point. And then we're going to be bringing a lot of the government power dominant corporate authority models to task. Like, you notice, like, the energy, these two are heading, like all 3 of these characters are heading towards this emperor. And the
Mhm.
emperor is really about the systems and the dominant, power dominant authority figures of our world. So the politicians that pull the strings, the corporations that own all the resources and have the agency to do things with them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's almost like sliding into, I'm going to say extreme confrontation, but the pressure will be felt. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's
Wow.
also that all of this energy is building up so that those systems can't hold back the, the floodgates, basically,
Yeah.
those old systems. Hmm.
Wow. That's some pretty no BS cards,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Hmm.
And I love that you want to go through the sign groups. Definitely want to do that. Before we get into that, because I think it ties into kind of the geopolitical landscape and in particular Canada, what's going on in Canada. And I know our whole audience isn't from Canada, but Ashal and I, Beyond Mystic, we're based out of Canada. And Canada's going through some really big shifts right now. We've just had our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, intend to resign. Was that yesterday, Ashala? I don't even know what
I'm
day.
here. I saw it this morning. I saw it.
So that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all my days are mixed up here. So we just had that happen. And this whole 51st state, talk from
Mhm.
Trump, that's been going on for the past couple weeks or so. But Trump was in a press conference today. I thought I had the slide up. Oh, here it is. He was in a press conference today, and he is not joking about this. Okay, so whatever you think about this, and we all have our different opinions, and that's totally okay. I know some people are upset at me at some of my opinions about it, being a bit open to the 51st state idea. He's serious about this. So, it's one thing for us to be seeing the tweets and stuff like that. It's another if you just go on X, if you go on YouTube, look up President Trump 51st state, it'll be this new video. He's totally serious. So, okay, there's a bunch of different pieces to this, Ashala. I'll also share with you. And let me see if I have this in my slides. Did I bring this up?
Just getting ready to pull cards on it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Ashala, bear with me here
Yeah.
for just a sec because, and my Palo Santo is going crazy. I just burned some Palo Santo and now it's
Nice.
going nuts. So sorry if there's like a lot of smoke, you guys.
I love it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to bring up this chart. I did a video on my YouTube the other day looking specifically at the astrology for Canada coming up. I looked, after Justin Trudeau resigned, what the heck's going on?
I'm going to lay these 3 cards down and then so that we know that we did it. We did it together. There we go. Oh my God.
Look at that.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. So you tell me first, and then I'll tell you what I'm seeing over here.
Okay. So, and I won't go on for too long. So, Justin Trudeau gave this date, March 24th. The government in Canada is going to be prorogued until March 24th. Now, those of you who may not be Canadian that may not know, President Trump is wanting to impose 25% tariffs on Canada, starting on Inauguration Day. We don't have proper leadership right now. The economy isn't even in a good place right now. So even before I looked at the charts, and this is the transit chart, this is what I want to show you, Ashala. It's like, okay, just with the common sense, this is not going to be an easy situation for Canada. And I know Canada is not the whole world, but this is just a specific big topic at the moment that I know is of interest to a lot of people. So for the whole next few months, this is a transit chart. Okay, so we've got Canada's chart in the middle rim, the current astrological transits in the outer rim. Look at all those planets transiting over Canada's 12th house of Pisces. Okay, which the 12th house of Pisces it's interesting because I'm having a brain fart what the cards were that you just pulled in that last one. You got the 5 of Pentacles,
the 9 of Swords, and the Emperor.
Right. So I'm not an expert on the tarot like you, Ashala, but that 5 of Pentacles, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a struggle card, right? It's not an easy.
Yeah, and it's fine, especially around finances and material security. It's hardship. It can be seen as hardship. It can also be seen as a type of abandonment. So you could say that people have been abandoned by their governments. They've been kind of forced into this, or like sort of isolated, neglected, forced into this position of hardship for 5 years, 5 Pentacles, right?
Oh my God.
I mean,
that makes no sense.
Right? I mean, it goes on much further back than that, but definitely over the last 5 years, it's just been getting to this critical point. here's another critical point card, right? The 10 of Wands, like exhaustion. So there's quite a lot of this. That 9 of Swords, that mental, and like coming to the end of your rope, sleepless nights, the mental anxiety, physical burnout, like exhaustion, and then that 5 of Pentacles being the like hardship or struggle, especially in the realm of finances and material security and so on. So there's no surprise with those things, right? We all know that this has been happening. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I guess why I'm feeling to bring this up so strong is it feels like, of course, US is going through a huge shift. They're about to inaugurate President Trump and his administration. And I think Canada is going to be the next country of like, whoa, really big shift. But it feels like looking at the transits, it's going to be more of a challenge that's prolonged over the next few months. I mean, this is a huge stellium of planets over the 12th house of victimhood, isolation, confusion, illusion. What's going on?
Yeah, having the wool pulled over our eyes all these years, right?
Yeah. Hidden secrets coming out. And to me, Ashala, let me know what you think. But to me, a lot of people will get the most freaked out by the 8th house in astrology, the house of Scorpio. The 12th house kind of freaks me out personally even a bit more because it's like, you don't know what you're going to get and it's very confusing. It's challenging. It's very healing and can be bliss and spirituality, but it's karmic undoing. It's karma that has to come to the surface and it's not easy at all.
Now, so, can I ask a question, Meg? Is that the sun that I'm seeing there in that house? That's the sun in Taurus?
In Aries.
Oh, in Aries. Okay, sorry. So interesting. I just find that interesting because we have the moon card, which is Pisces, and the sun card, which is Aries.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if we're looking at like almost like a reboot, or like here we are, we're at the end of the line, like really whatever the game is up, right? The jig is rigged and it's all out, like we can see it all, and even people, even sleepers can see it, like it's all, the game is up. So but it's something about whatever's going to happen, like this proposal for the 51st date feels to me like it's a bit of a wake-up call, and it could even be, now I don't know for sure, but I'm suggesting that it might be, like you said, it might be a look, we're going to put so much pressure on you guys that you either have to design a new government that's in alignment with our philosophy, or you're going to be, so broken that you'll be begging us to take you in. So I think it could go like either way, but I do feel like there could be something, because if you think about it, like seeing that sun in the 12th house as like the sovereign identity of Canada could be reborn. The sun could be reborn.
Yeah, and going into April, that sun goes into the first house. It's not as many things in the 12th house. April going into May, going into June, it's like we found there's a new identity.
There's a new identity. There's a new identity. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think there will be, some renewal and revival and the incentive, but then we're going to have to do the very difficult work of looking back. And I'm really actually being shown us looking back. Oh, I mean, really all the way back, but especially I'm getting over like the last 20, 25 years. There's going to be a lot of looking back in Canadian politics and seeing where things got really taken off course. And I just feel like there's going to be, there'll be this push to have a renewal and renewed sense of identity, but it's going to take quite a while for people to get on board with that. A lot of people.
That makes a lot of sense. People mentally struggling with it. 12th house Pisces, which for those of you who don't know, the 12th house is the Pisces areas of life, right? So mental instability, mental confusion, victimhood, like we're what's going on? If there's actually these tariffs going on and we don't have a leader and the parliament is pro-rogue, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, and this is a little bit like almost there could be some looking back and the possibility that we've always been the 51st state, the possibility that we're going to learn that it's already a foregone conclusion.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm not saying I can clearly see, because we can read it both ways. I don't know exactly which one of those two realities is going to be revealed, but either way, no matter what happens, whether we become amalgamated or just return to what we already have been, or is this an incentive to evolve? Regardless, it's going to be an improvement, but it's going to have to take us into a period of a lot of reevaluation.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe Within Yoga says Canada has never really been a real country. We have always had the crown running us. To be clear, has never been a real sovereign country.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, in part, Canada is a country, but totally right, Breathe Within Yoga, we're not sovereign free country, which I was talking the other day on my channel, ASHALA, about for me, and I just like to keep it real, I'll be honest. I didn't fully realize until within the past 5 years, I knew that we weren't like the States, but I didn't understand that we weren't actually a sovereign country up until 5 years ago as a Canadian. And from my experience, many Canadians are like that. I'm not saying every single Canadian is like that, but we've been very programmed that we're the freest country in the world, we're the safest country in the world. But the truth is, right, 12th house of Pisces, go behind the curtains and the illusions be revealed. Truth is, no, we're totally under the monarchy of England. We're not sovereign. And what's really going on? Were we always the 51st state? Is something gone on behind the scenes where we're already the 51st state? I think, yeah, there's going to be a huge revealing.
There's lots to be revealed. And I think what's important at this juncture, so that we're all kind of, linking arms and feeling co-supported, is that I like to say, especially after doing this for 30 years with being awake and a truther, I like to say, look at all the different potential angles and then see a common theme in them all. Like, it's almost like, yes, I understand that if it's this, then we got to do a lot of work on that, and that. I get it. Right. But just for the sake of looking at this, I always feel like we're in the middle of the battle. We're in the trenches. We're in the front line. This isn't the time to start doing large systems analysis. Like, we do need to do enough analysis to get the perspective of what's happening, what has happened, and slowly start building in more of the real history and the narratives that have been hidden. But the big pulling it all apart and dissecting who did what, I feel like that's way down the road, probably in their lifetime, because we've got enough on our plates to navigate through this. Yeah. And so just to say, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? All of those, the themes they have in common is that we're at a time of change. We know that there's a lot of lies that have been told. There's a lot that's been hidden, and we're determined to do the work to uncover that. If it takes us, as long as it takes, we're going to continue to review. And I think, to not get lost in that review, like, well, we can't go forward until we know all the truth. I say, know as much as you do, and know that we know enough to realize what we have to no longer stand for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me, ASHALA, of when, at least I'll speak for myself, being on this consciousness journey. And I'm a Scorpio. And at first, when I really had that consciousness awakening, learning about conspiracies and the things really going on in the world, the heavy, heavy, heavy stuff, watching those certain documentaries and heavy books. And then it comes to a time where, okay, you get the gist of that's going on. You get the gist of that. And at some point, you need to stop being obsessed with it or reading about it every single day to move forward. It's kind of making me think about that. There's always more information to uncover. There's always something else to go deeper in, but it's that past that, yes, we have to look back at it, but we can't live in it. And if we're having these serious issues and change coming forward, we have to move forward into
Yes,
the future.
definitely. Definitely. And there's a commonality, right? It's like whether it goes this way, whether the truth or what ends up happening goes any number of ways, the commonality is that there's been a lot of deceit, a lot of, illusion, and that we are in a time of great change, and there's so much accountability that is being not only requested, demanded at this point. Like, I just love watching our community say, whoever it is, whatever political person or party or whatever the agenda is, we're saying we're keeping an eye on it.
Right.
I think that's healthy. We're keeping an eye on all of this. We're not like saying, oh, good, now I know the truth, I can hang up my hat and go relax. Definitely celebrate that we're going in the right direction. We're going in the right direction with this sun.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful. This is going to be a very powerful year for sure. Should we go into each of the signs, see what we got coming up for 2025?
Definitely.
Awesome.
So who's the first one? Who shall we do first, Meg?
Let's do our fire signs.
Okay.
Which is our Aries, Leos, and Sagittarians.
Love it. Oh, it's a little sticky.
Ooh.
Little sticky. The fire signs. Just means there's a lot of energy around it, is what I'm getting. There's a lot of energy. Okay. Fire signs. Pentacles. All right. Oh, well, that's nice. Okay, so interesting, because I pay attention to sometimes when I'm shuffling. As I said, the cards feel like all of a sudden they're all stuck together, and it's almost like there's a lot of energy to move through.
Yeah.
And I notice that. I just watch when that's happening. The cards came out pretty nicely, but I feel like it's going to be work for you, fire signs, this year, to not get bogged down in your own. Yeah, they're showing me like that old-fashioned game of Twister, like the pretzel knots, just like you've got arrows going this way and this way and this way and this way and all over the place, right? And it's kind of like getting kind of caught in your own web a little bit. And there was a sticky feeling for fire signs. Interesting that you might feel a bit bogged down and slowed down at the beginning of the year. That's totally fine. It's actually, I think, what I was just referring to. You've got a lot of irons and a lot of fires. You're going in a lot of directions. And Spirit is just trying to hold you sort of in place to ground some of that. So grounding practices in the first, say, 6 weeks to 3 or 4 months of this year, really important for our fire signs. Look at this. April sees you kind of coming out like on top, basically.
Wow.
Coming out like smelling like a rose. So, because look at that, all the roses up the top of the bower. Like it's another renewal, card of renewal. And then I want to say probably in the last 3 months of 2025, you fire signs are going to start to get really involved in some kind of project, or like a passion project or some kind of collaboration or investment or something like that, and really putting a lot of what you believe into practice. Looks fantastic. This is one of my favorite cards in the tarot. We call it the entrepreneur card. So you could be starting your own business or financing, going in on a group finance project or something like that. So that looks great for fire signs this year.
Wow, that is really, really interesting. Let me see if I can share my chart. Oh, I can share my chart like that. Okay, awesome. So I brought up the solar chart for Aries, but it relates to all the fire signs. So the biggest astrological aspect we're having in 2025 is the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, which is going to be exact in 2026, but they're going to start to be in very strong conjunction and actually almost totally exact in the summer of 2025 at 1 degrees of Aries. So the Aries will be very affected. All the fire signs will have this Saturn Neptune conjunction, which, Saturn is our systems and structures of life. Neptune is dissolving things, kind of losing away or healing, also spiritual awakening and upliftment. For the fire signs, they're having that conjunction in their fire houses of self. So themselves, how they express themselves, their beliefs, how they're seen by others. So this is a very foundational shift that is going on for the fire signs. That it's interesting you got that card. What was the first card you got for the fire
Seven
signs?
of Pentacles, which is patience. It's patience and grounding.
Yeah, it's, Saturn is all those things: patience, grounding, delays. So Saturn will enter a fire sign in 2025, then retrograde back, and then not till 2026 go full on. So for all of us, actually, there can be, I would say, excuse me, heightened delays at times with this Saturn Neptune conjunction with the Jupiter in square to Saturn, but it can be more amplified for the fire signs. But the thing about Saturn and this Saturn Neptune conjunction is where you put your energy. If you are doing work that is in alignment, may take a little bit longer to achieve some of those goals, but it will pay off in the long run. And that's what Saturn teaches us. Nothing comes for free. The best things come through work, sometimes hard work, and being grounded and not just airy fairy. There you go. There's $1 million. Then
And,
you don't really learn
patience, right?
and
Patience and perseverance.
Yeah, which is natural. Nature shows us that we need patience.
Yeah.
It takes time for seeds to grow, to watch the flow of the seasons. It's all about time. So, yeah, fire signs makes a lot of sense what you got, Ashala.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Next up,
Earth signs.
Earth signs.
And that is our Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorns.
It's interesting. As I'm shuffling this very moment, the cards themselves are speaking to my hands. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't happen all that often, but they're kind of saying, you see the way we're moving. This is how the signs need to move. And so what I really felt, like there was all this stickiness with the fire signs, I felt this spaciousness with the earth signs. I felt like really sort of, and when I think about spaciousness, I think about getting organized, right? Like organization, when you create a budget, when you create a plan, it puts everything in its place. And then there's more space, right? You don't get into all these kind of jams or whatever. So there's something spacious energy around the earth signs. Whoa, look at this. There we are with that 5 again in the recent past. Well, and it could linger into the beginning of this year. Oh, the same 2 cards. Wow, you watched me shuffle that. Okay, so the earth signs are definitely going to be feeling this that we were looking at. Right. So, all right. Interesting. I'm going to pull 2 more cards to support our earth signs, because this is basically that feeling of, the ground is shifting and I don't know what to do about it, because the earth signs are very much like in the practical, in the real world, and they're like too much stuff changing. And then that creates a lot of anxiety. And when we're in a state of anxiety, it's very hard to make clear decisions. It's very hard to, make especially empowered choices and activate and problem solve, right? It's like anxiety leads to emotional overwhelm. and confusion. So this is the Maya card, that
Mm.
confusion. So to me, it's going to be so valuable for our earth signs to know that the earth is going to feel unstable for them. That element is going to feel unstable for them. So how that feeling of spaciousness that I got at the beginning,
Yeah.
like it's going to be very important to arrive back into a good state. So you may not feel like you're making huge leaps and bounds this year in terms of the earth signs are usually so good at manifesting and stabilizing and grounding. They take it almost for granted. It might be not the usual way this year. It might not be as easy to find your place in that. And I just keep hearing breathe and breath. Yeah, create, be creative. Oh, yes. Yeah, so creativity and organization, planning and creativity, and take a lot of breath.
Oh. King and a queen, that is wild. And that totally makes sense with the astrology, Ashala, as usual, because the earth signs rather, are going to have Saturn Neptune conjunction within a strong orb when they enter Aries in the water houses, in their 12th, 8th, and 4th houses. So this can be an emotional overload at times, and can be very much about having to karmically, because Saturn and Neptune both have to deal with karmically deal with emotions, family issues, past life issues, deep traumas before going forward in a next kind of phase of life, if that makes sense.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so it looks like some of your allies or tools are going to be this energy of creativity and of planning. So organization and creativity are going to be your best friends, and a lot of breathing. Yeah, there we go. The organization and the creativity. Which is so interesting. I can't help but refer to, but I'm doing that. My Feng Shui Basics course is one of the things that I'm offering, and home and land clearing, but especially that Feng Shui Basics. It's a lot about getting your, we think about, oh yeah, I'm going to Feng Shui my home. It's also about your internal home, getting your home in balance. And the home is about noticing the different parts. A lot of times they say our homes reflect, our outer home reflects our inner home. And if we're missing parts to it, or there's parts of our home where the energy is really weak, it often reflects in our internal lives as well, our personal lives. So something about, I think that earth signs are so good at grounding and getting their material needs met, but this year you may be delayed or pulled back from having as much agency or instant gratification in that way. And it's so that you can really discern and organize your material reality differently. That's the main message here.
Wow. Very, very powerful. Thank you for that. Now we're going to move to our air signs, which is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius for 2025. This is some big messages coming through, Ashala.
It's pretty big messages. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it and take notes. Send all my people over here.
Yeah.
Okay, air signs, here we go. All right.
Okay.
A gift, a reward, a choice, a decision, and healing. So, starters, let's just look at these two cards. Divine intervention. When we see those red wings, we're talking about divine intervention. And it's sort of like, in a way, you could also see it as like first aid, like spirit comes in to give you a little hand here. Mm-hmm. So air signs, whatever you've done or wherever you're at right now, you're in line to receive a little bit of divine intervention this year. And especially around making big choices in the first 6 months, consideration, setting into action in the second 6 months. So between now and June, a lot of the air sign energy will be contemplating and thinking about choices. And then between June and December of 2025, there will be the starting of enacting some of those choices. These choices will really get going in 2026. So it's sort of like we're at this turning point. We're getting some divine intervention. Look at this, balance and healing. So a lot of things, both karmic, emotional, relational, energetic. I want to say for overall, for air signs, it's really going to be so important to open your minds, open your hearts, and open your hands and say, yes, thank you this year, because this is the gift. And it could be that there's been work done to prepare for this for a long, long time, and things are slowly, painfully slowly, but slowly, this new energy is about to emerge, and we've got the divine intervention supporting us through this transition. So very cool.
Wow, that is super cool for our air signs, and interesting that they're having the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries in their air houses. So cool that there's the Lovers card there, there's the Temperance card there. Houses that have to do with our interaction with others, new ideas as well. So moving forward, quite positive. I don't feel anything too heavy going on with the air signs.
No, but it does feel like with those two, like those are major arcana, and with those two divine intervention beings, my sense is that the air signs are a bit more delicate than they want to admit. That's my feeling. Just nod if you agree there, air signs. Yeah, we're kind of holding it together and maybe doing a little bit of faking it till we make it.
Right.
And this is beautiful, but it's almost like I'm hearing, we knew it was coming. We knew the divine intervention was coming. We could feel it, and it's arriving. So you might not get a really big hit of that till mid-year, but you might start to feel, just notice that things are different. You're getting more support, more help, more gifts, more material rewards. Notice that, air signs, because that means divine intervention is on its way. And yeah, you've been holding your breath and holding on by your your fingernails. There's been, I think, a lot of that going on with air signs. So this is a lovely, by the end of this year, you could be feeling very restored.
That's wonderful. Cool. There you go. Air signs. Now we're going to move, last but not least, to our water signs for 2025, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What's the deck brand that you use, Shala? The type of tarot cards that you use?
This is the Rider-Waite tarot, Meg, and it's, I think Rider-Waite was created in 1910. Most of our modern tarot decks are based on Rider-Waite.
Right.
So the imagery that's in the Rider-Waite deck is like kind of universally modern tarot, if you want to call it that. Yeah, you can find some older style tarot decks that are from, before the late 1800s, and they look way more medieval and classic. And although this does, it has got a bit of more of a modern slant to it. Cool. Okay, here we go. Water signs. All right. Wow. Great start. The boundary queen. The no nonsense boundary queen. I love it. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay. This is interesting, because this is, there's two ways of looking at this card, the Eight of Swords. It's kind of like taking hostages or being taken hostage, but it's in the mind. So it's really noticing where you've given up your power, or where you kind of are in, let's just say, a little bit compromising agreements with people. Right. So it's kind of a delicate thing to talk about, but it's basically like where we sort of one day open our eyes and go, I'm in a power dynamic, and I didn't set it up consciously, and I'm not doing it intentionally, but I think we can all say this at different points of our lives. I feel like the water signs are really going to be looking at this year and going, with a few small adjustments and a lot of good communication, this could shift. There could be, you don't have to throw it all out, but little adjustments around power in your relationships, in your work, in your whatever it is.
Right.
And then for something totally different, a little adventure card. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag for the water signs. We've got kind of like the boundary queen, no nonsense, discrimination, like, making decisions like that, the critical thinking,
Yeah.
looking at power dynamics and having a really good, clear kind of communication first with yourself and then with the other people involved.
Yeah.
But then it's sort of like, I feel like a lot of that gets done maybe even earlier in the year. And the last portion of the year is more of a woohoo fun.
Interesting. Are water signs out there? Yeah, there's work to be done, and there's reality checks to be attending to with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the Earth houses. So it's interesting that there's those sword cards, and you're talking about boundaries there. Of course, that's classic for us water signs. I am a Scorpio, so shout out to all the water signs out there. Boundaries can be a really big issue for us, and power dynamics, and why are we doing what we're doing in love relationship and familial relationship and work and our long-term goals. Is it ours, or is it someone else's or something else's in terms of what we want to attain professionally or in terms of our abundance or our day-to-day routines?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for the comments in the live chat. People are happy that we're back after the holidays, and they're resonating with what we're saying. So we love you guys so much. We've gone through the different sign groups for 2025. Hope you guys enjoyed that as well as collective. Any parting words of wisdom or anything you're feeling to share, ASHALA, before we finish up this week's show?
I would like to share that I'm going to be starting a new show. I just found out today, and I'm going to be on what is it called? The new
Intuition Mondays.
Yeah, but they're going to be switched to Fridays.
Yeah.
And Penny Kelly and I are going to be co-hosting that show.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and it's going to start on the 17th. So not this Friday, but the following one. So excited that's a new offering. And I really feel like intuition, learning more about all these skills that we've been working with, Meg, the astrology and the numerology and the tarot, intuition and so on, are going to continue to be so useful to our audience, because this is a way that it's not about even so much about predicting outside events. It's a lot about navigating through whatever comes and knowing sort of where your blind spots are, where you need to have a little help, what that help might look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot about what we do with the knowledge that we're given. It isn't just about getting an accurate, obviously we're attempting as much as possible to get as clear and accurate a read on things. And it's about, regardless of, we know generally the theme, regardless of what happens, we want to be working on how we're going to respond.
Yeah, definitely. Totally resonate with that, and looking forward to seeing you and Penny Kelly's new show. So it's going to be Intuition Fridays. Is that what it's going to be called? Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. That's going to be so much fun. Cool. Yeah. So look forward to that, you guys. We do have some schedule changes going on. So to keep up to date with the Beyond Mystic schedule, you can go to beyondmystic.net, and then the tab schedule to see our up-to-date new schedule changes and things. And before we finish up as well, just a reminder again that you can find our personal readings, my personal astrology readings, or Ashala's psychic tarot readings available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. And we've got discount code Beyond Mystic, all in one word. You can get 10% off. And I am going to be hosting this special Pluto and Aquarius Master Workshop on the Beyond Mystic Academy this upcoming Sunday, January 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So come join me live or catch the replay. We're going to deep dive into this transit for the collective and all 12 signs. So excited that we're in Pluto in Aquarius right now. So happy about that. So thank you, Ashala, so much. I'm so happy to see you again after the holidays.
Likewise.
Looking forward to a 2025 of As Above, So Below.
Me as well.
Yay. Awesome. We love you all so much. Sending lots of love your way, and see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.